Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new review. In today's video we got the Hot Toys Spider-Man 1/6 scale Spider-Man stealth suit based on its appearance in Spider-Man Far From Home, or as I like to call it, Night Monkey. This guy is one of my favorite Spider-Man suits of all time. Whether you like it or not, this is one of my favorite suits of all time. So let's go ahead and start unboxing this guy. Right, now unlike Deadpool here, I actually have not taken a single look at this guy. Right, I literally just opened his packaging from eBay, and like I said, he is from eBay, so I really hope this doesn't become a problem. And as you can probably see, I got this new ball jointed camera so we can actually look down at this. So looking at the slip cover, it's a little Mysterio head with the text Spider-Man stealth suit, Hot Toys, and Spider-Man Far From Home. Side of the box, Spider-Man stealth suit, legal information, and same thing on the other side. So getting the slip cover off here, let's go ahead and take a look at this. And it's pretty much the same thing, just Spider-Man stealth suit. Now, I bought this thing. It said it was slightly used, but overall new. But it has the tape on it. So, like, did they just give me a sealed one anyways? So, we're just going to take our little Optimus Prime axe. Make sure you go watch a review on this guy after you're done here. Oh, I didn't even notice. Hold on a second. Let's get the tape open. And this freaking opens. And look at that. You can see a brief glimpse of the figure inside. But let's go ahead and get this actually opened up so we can take a look at this beautiful piece. Pulling this beautiful clam tray out here, we can now see Spidey-Man, our boy Spider-Man here. And then taking this off as well, this guy does genuinely look, this guy is brand freaking new. That is awesome. This is a brand new figure, and you can tell because of the plastic on his arms, legs, and on the head. That is pretty cool, because like I said, I bought this guy as new, but not finished. Oh. Alright, we'll figure this out later. But first impressions, pretty nice. I'm liking the material he's made of. So let's go ahead and take him out and look at everything he comes with. So, taking a look at everything he comes with, first thing he comes with that I'm very surprised about is this little neck piece. Now this is cool because this is for if you have a regular Tom Holland head sculpt, so you can get an unmasked version, which I really like. They didn't need to do that at all, but you gotta love it. It also does come with a little display base. This is like a harder material, and then this is like glossy and soft. Spider-Man No Way Home on top, and then Spider-Man stealth suit. Lovely, lovely, lovely. He does also come with some swap out eyes. These are the non-articulated ones, so all you do is you kind of just pull these out, and then there's some tabs on the back that simply just peg into there. Now, you can obviously interchange these. For example, if you want Spider-Man to be winking, you kind of just, it's a little hard to do this with that thing. And bang, now he's winking. But yeah, these are cool. I wish that these were also articulated. It's a little annoying that they aren't. But the other ones are articulated, and those are my preferred ones. So yeah, comes with some webs as well. We got this one that's almost, I think it's supposed to be like a web slinging one, right? Where he's got like the webs tangled up here. And then a bunch of short shooting ones, plus a couple longer ones for web slinging poses. And then he also does come with a web funnel, which can be attached to some of the ends, but very nicely detailed. I definitely really like it. Don't know if I'm gonna use it for anything, but it definitely does look nice. And then of course he does come with a full array of hands. We got these kind of, they're not really gripping hands, but they're not fully splayed out hands either. Alright, so I guess you could just call these like gripping hands, I guess. Then of course we do get some web shooting hands. These all, by the way, do look very nice. They got this nice little sculpted texture on them to make them feel like they are real gloves. He also does have some splayed out hands for whatever you need them for. I'm thinking more ground pound poses. But like I said, like the other ones, these are all very nicely sculpted and well, nicely painted. And he also does come with these what look to be regular fists, but these do have a hole drilled in them, as these are for web shooting poses, right? So these are for web slinging poses, and then he also does come with some closed fists right here, but let's go ahead and take a look at him himself. Oh, this is so nice to look at for me because I could not get Deadpool to stand on this turntable at all. His ankles were just too loose, but we actually got him spinning here on the turntable, and he definitely looks very nice. I've been toying around with this guy for a couple days, and I really like him. I definitely have some things I don't like about this guy that we'll get into here in a second, but I overall like this guy. He has so much nice detail on it, and almost all the swap pieces are actually like this like sculpted soft plastic stuff, so it's not like fabric or anything, but it definitely looks very nice. So let's go ahead and take him off and take some closer looks at him. So obviously starting off here with the head, this does look very nice. This is sculpted, it's not a fabric mask, which I actually prefer. I know there's some people who don't like that, but I prefer it. It looks very nice. You can almost barely tell that it's sculpted until you get in some light right there. Then it becomes more obvious, but this does look very nice. And I had a little bit of a problem with the eyes earlier on, but I did just rewatch Far From Home, and this is actually super accurate. I don't know why they place his eyes this far apart in the movie, but they just do. But this is very nicely sculpted. You can see pieces of his actual head poking through, like the nose. And then, of course, if you flip this open, you can see the eyes, which is actually where one of my gripes comes in about this guy. Why do they have to put him off to an angle, right? Why can't I just get him looking straight forward? Because I like having the eyes open, but that means I have to put him like this in the display. And I don't like that. I just want to be able to look forward. And I wish I didn't have to, like, do that with the eyes open. But it's not that big of a deal. And then, as you saw, these are articulated. And then these can be swapped out because this is just a magnet, right? So it comes on and off very easily. If I go ahead and grab the swap out one over here, we can then see that it is a very easy move to get those different eyes. This one doesn't look as good in my opinion. I feel like the eyes just look more like, I don't know, I feel like they stick off to the side more, which is another reason why I like this articulated one, right? I just feel like they look so much better up here, right? But coming down to here, you can start to see all that nice detail. This guy's suit is mostly made of spandex, and then like I said, there's like a soft plastic up here. I can't really tell what it is. It almost feels like leather too. But these are all sculpted nicely detailed here. Spandex in the parts where there are joints, which I love because, I mean, you get a little bit of bunching, but you can kind of just like leave them like that and not have to worry too much like you would with a figure, for example, Deadpool. But tons and tons. You can see the zip line, which looks awesome. Not a functioning zipper, but obviously tons of nice detail on the back here too. I really like this like segmented section. I think it looks really nice. Nice little utility belt. This is just sculpted plastic. It's like a softer plastic, but it is still sculpted plastic. Taking a look here at the forearms, these definitely do look nice. Web shooters looking very nice. You can of course plug in one of the web effects into there, but coming down here you can see more of that armor plating, which I have a couple gripes about these ones, which we'll talk about later. But you can see, like I said, some more spandex right in the areas where it needs to be, which we love. Knee pads, again, kind of like soft rubbery plastic almost. Definitely looking very nice. Got a couple clips on the side and some nice little detailing on through. The shin guards also look very nice. I do find these things getting a little annoying because they move around a lot when you're posing, but it's really not that big of a deal. And then the ankles can actually move like crazy though, because they got this really nice bend to them, although it does kind of give you a visible cut, which does suck. And then the other problem I have is these just pop off like so easily that it's not even funny. Like I can literally just start bending the foot forward or to the side and it just pops right off. Little annoying, not the end of the world though. And then as you can see that moving around, but the shoe is nice and detailed, and it's also detailed on the bottom. So not a bad figure at all. He's very nicely detailed and just overall looks really, really nice. Now, if you do have a Tom Holland head sculpt, getting this head off is super easy. It literally just pops right off. I'm not going to show you with the neck though, because I always struggle to get the skin tone neck off afterwards, but it does also just pop right back in place. So getting that Tom Holland head sculpt on should be pretty easy. Like I said, mine, the skin tone neck, like, always struggles to get off. So that's why I don't really mess with it, but you can definitely get that on pretty easily. Now, this isn't a great comparison since Ryan Reynolds is super tall and then Tom Holland is on the shorter side. But here he is stacked up against that Deadpool 2 Deadpool. Like I said, Ryan Reynolds is like 6'5", and then Tom Holland is supposed to be shorter in this movie due to the fact that he's like 15 or something far from home. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything about the scaling because obviously we don't see these guys. Please let us see Tom Holland and Deadpool interact with each other. That would be just my happy place right there. Alright, now articulation is where we start to see some of the problems with this guy because it's a Spider-Man guy. He should be very poseable, but he's not perfect. So the head is really articulated. You got 2 ball joints, one there, so you can really get the head moving around. Oh, maybe don't pop it off, that's not what you want to do. But you can get a pretty good amount of tilt. Obviously full 360 for some reason, and then you can get a lot of tilt because of the neck joint too. But the waist can rotate about that far, go about that far, and about that far, so it's not great. But the arms can go out to about that far, back to about that far too, and then you can also get them going out about that far, although you can get them a little bit farther if you move up the panel pieces, because these do move around for articulation. But butterfly joint going in, back that far, up and down, which we do love to see. We do get a way past 90-degree bend, which is nice to at least get that. And then a bicep swivel, and then the classic Hot Toys rotation in the wrist. And then the legs are my biggest problem with articulation, right? Because I think I can live without an ab crunch, right? But the legs can only go out to about that far, and even that's kind of messing with the material there, which isn't great, but they do bend to a pretty good degree. And then there is a thigh swivel in there. Then the ankles, like I showed you earlier, got this, they have a cut down here so they can move around like a lot. And then there is a nice little hidden toe pivot. It's actually really hard to see. It's really impressive. You can almost barely see it, but it does help with articulation a little bit. But yeah, overall this guy's articulation really isn't that great, which sucks for being a Spider-Man. But I mean, he's still like good enough. I've gotten a couple decent poses out of him, but I mean, you can make it work if you're willing to stretch it a little bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. So, wrapping up my review for the Hot Toys Spider-Man Far From Home Spider-Man Stealth Suit. This guy looks great, but everything else about him isn't perfect. His articulation is very disappointing, especially for a Spider-Man figure, but for a Hot Toys, it's actually not bad. But if this wasn't a Spider-Man review, he'd be a little bit higher, but since this is, I do have to put him a little bit lower in the articulation department. But like I said, visually he's really nice looking, and I'm just happy that I'm gonna have him on my shelf, even just in a basic museum pose. The stealth suit is probably my favorite design from Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, and so if you're on that same boat and you're okay with not perfect articulation, then this guy really is your guy. I don't recommend getting him for retail price at about like $200, $300, but if you're like me and you stumbled across him on eBay for less than $200, I would recommend getting this guy. He's not perfect, he definitely has flaws. I do wish they picked a different material for this, all the armor pieces that could bend a little bit more, but as you can see right now, you can still get him into some poses. They're not perfect, especially for Spider-Man, but you can definitely get him into some poses. I also do wish he included a Tom Holland head sculpt, or at least had rolling eyes. I get that wasn't really a thing back then, but I do wish that was, so that way you could get him looking just straight on, as that is actually like one of my biggest complaints about this guy. But overall, this guy's a pretty good figure. Not perfect by any means, but still a good cop if you can get him for a good price. So that's been my review on him. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would be so kind to hit that like and subscribe, and even share while you're at it. And go ahead and comment what your favorite Hot Toys figure is. Anyways, that's all. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.